Happy Tuesday. Double checking to make sure I've gone live. Today, excuse me, today is Tuesday, July 29th. July 29th. Oh my goodness. July just flew by. I don't know if it did for you guys, but it sure did for me. I have a new grandbaby coming anytime. She's actually due, my daughter is due August 19th. But she went to the doctor yesterday and the doctor said she's already dilated to 3, so she could be coming anytime. So I'm really excited. I'm not sure the baby will come in July because we've only got a few days left, but we're definitely going to have an August baby. And my son is also an August baby, but he's not till the end of August. And I don't think my daughter wants to go that late into the month. But anyway, lots of exciting things are happening and I'm really, really excited to be here with you. I just got back from a girls' trip to Arkansas with my mom and my aunt, who actually is more like my sister because she's just a year older than I am. But we had a great time crafting, and if you follow me on my Facebook page, my April Davis Creations Facebook page, we shared some of the pictures of the crafts that we did. Not only did we do card crafting and scrapbooking, and I did finish my virtual album, so I'm really, really excited to have that done. But we also did a couple of other projects as well. So if you get a chance to go out to my Facebook page, hi Mom, good to see you. Excuse me. If you get a chance to go to my Facebook page, go check it out because we posted pictures. Okay, today, fun class. We are focused on the Sunflower 3D embossing folder. But before I get into the fun, there's a few things that I want to catch you up on. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of you who like, who share, who comment, not only on my Facebook video, but also on my YouTube video. You know that I record on Facebook, but then after the Facebook Live is done, we record it up to YouTube. I've been doing that forever, but it's even more important now because Facebook has changed their rules, and after 30 days, my Facebook video gets taken down. It's not just me, it's everybody. They only let your video stay for 30 days. So it goes to YouTube. That's just a side note. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, commenting. It means the world to me because you're helping to grow my channel. And as a thank you, I do a weekly drawing for 2 people to receive something fun. It's Prize Patrol. It's something fun. So last week I had 2 winners. I've got 1 winner, got her gift shipped out, but I'm still waiting for Kim Lloyd to contact me. Kim, I have your email address, but I don't have your mailing address. So I need you to contact me at aprildaviscreations@gmail.com so that I can get your prize from last week in the mail to you. This week I have 2 new winners. Sorry, my stuff's getting away from me. 2 winners. One of the winners is Lala's Crafts. That's Phyllis. And Phyllis, you are winning the Good Times Mix and Match ephemera pack. So Phyllis, do reach out to me. In fact, I may have your information, so I'll double check, but I think I have your information. But congratulations, you're a winner. And the second winner is Tanya Pearson. So Tanya, you're winning the same thing, the Good Times Mix and Match ephemera pack. And Tanya, I know I have your contact information, so I will work to get both of these gifts out in the mail to you. Congratulations and thank you so much. I do appreciate you guys for doing that. Okay, what else is going on? I'm going to switch screens really quickly with you guys so that I can just give you a quick update on what's going on this week. And then we're going to get into the cards because I'm really excited about the cards. All right, so the enrollment for the Crafting Happiness Club is open. This is a monthly club. These cards are delivered straight to your door with everything that you need. You get paper, you get ribbon, you get, in this one you've got embellishments. You get enough product, cardstock, to create 2 each of these cards, and you get a tutorial that helps you to put these cards together. So fun. Enrollment for this particular one, we're doing the Cheers and Sips bundle. So you'll need to have that bundle on hand, but we're doing the Cheers and Sips bundle. This enrollment ends on August 20th. So you want to be sure and get registered in if you want to get this before the 20th. Also, I wanted to remind everybody that Paper Pumpkin subscriptions for August are open until August the 10th. So if you're interested in Paper Pumpkin, it's another monthly kit that Stampin' Up! Delivers. And lots and lots of fun. And for people who subscribe to Paper Pumpkin through me, they actually receive a free alternatives tutorial. There's 4 demonstrators that go in on this with me, and we create 12 additional alternatives for Paper Pumpkin. The July Paper Pumpkin is now out. So if you're a subscriber with me, you've received your email with that Paper Pumpkin alternative. If you're not a subscriber with me, hi Diana, good to see you. If you're not a subscriber with me, but you want the tutorials, you can actually go out to my website, and it is, whoops, let's get this going in the right place. Hold on just a second. Did it show up? Here, did it show up? Let me see. Hold on, guys. Trying to get my April, oh, there it is. It's at the top. AprilDavisCreations.com. If you go out there and go to my store, I have a PDF store, and you can actually purchase the tutorial for July through my PDF store. All right, last but not least, Stampin' Up! Just announced a new sale. This doesn't start until August the 5th, but all of our in color products are going to be 15% off through the month of August. So if you haven't gotten your in colors yet, the new in colors, so this is Cloud Cover, Darling Duckling, Secret Sea, Strawberry Slush, and Timid Tiger. If you haven't gotten your new in colors yet, that stay around, every 2 years they change them. So these new in colors will be here for 2 years. You want to take advantage of this sale because 15% off is 15% off, right? Hi, Jana. I'm so glad you said hello. Thank you for joining me. All right, those are the updates that I wanted to give you today. Let me show you these cards that we are creating. So fun. I'm going to take down my April Davis Creations, and I'm going to show you the cards, and then we're going to get into them. But the star of this particular to-go class is this Sunflower 3D embossing folder. It is online. Now, I have to give you the bad news first, that this embossing folder is not available right now. It's so popular that they have sold out. However, it is coming back, and I just checked right before I went live, and the Sunflower embossing folder will be available again the week of August 11th. So that's only a few weeks out. Now, what I want to say about this is a to-go class. And so obviously you're going to need the embossing folder for the to-go class. When you place an order in my online store, I will send you the kit for this to-go class for free. And that information is out on my website. If you don't want to place an order in the online store because maybe you're a demonstrator, but you want the kit, then you can purchase the kit, and that's on my website as well. So what I'm doing this time around, because I don't do this very often, but because this embossing folder is the star of this to-go class, and because it's not available until August the 11th, when I send you your kit, I will also send you the embossed sheets so that you can still create this to-go class. So I will do that. I'm not allowed to stamp for you, but I can emboss. So I'm going to send you the embossed sheets for the to-go class. And then later, once August 11th gets here, you can go in and get your own embossing folder. Because I promise you, once you start playing with this, you're not going to want to stop. And I will give you examples of that as we go along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do this card first, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently since we're going to be inking, doing a lot of inking and coloring with these. I'm going to create the accent thoughts, the sunflowers first, and then we'll go back in and we'll create the cards. And this is exactly how I did it when I was creating. I just sat down one afternoon and I just started going to town. So this first one, we are going to work on the embossed side. So the raised side is the embossed side. The side that is indented in is the debossed side. So this first card, we're using the embossed side. And basically what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight ink. And all I'm doing with my Misty Moonlight ink is I'm taking it, and I've got my glass mat, so all of my mess is going to go on the glass mat. You're going to want to have some scrap paper down or use your glass mat, but this is a messy process, and my hands are going to get messy too. But you're going to take your ink pad and you're just going to scrape it over the top of your card. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness. I every single time I do this, and I've done tons of cards, and so I'm going to do it again this way, and you can go over a couple times to get however much ink you want. You can go different angles. I'm just going to go ahead and do it like that. Maybe I'll go across this way as well. I'm going to be putting some color on this. But now I've got my ink on there. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness. Okay, let me bring in a baby wipe so I can clean up my glass mat. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'll just clean this up. Easy peasy. This is why you want a glass mat, guys. Okay, so we've got the glass mat, and I'm looking to see if I have any paper towels. My glass mat's a little wet. We'll just wipe it off this way. Okay, now let's talk about tools. There's a number of different tools that you can use. You can use daubers to put your color on. You can use blending brushes. We've got Stampin' Up! Has the small blending brushes that you can put your color on. And so I would recommend either the daubers or the blending brushes, because that's probably what you've got in your arsenal from Stampin' Up! I'm going to start with these, but I'm going to show you a couple things. First of all, I was making plenty enough cards, and you can see that the daubers don't last they last a while, but when you use them over and over and over again, they start to fray and fall apart. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got some extra daubers on hand so that you can create cards that you're going to be doing this technique with, or any of the other cards. And again, I'm using the sunflower embossing folder, but you don't necessarily have to use just the sunflower embossing folder. You can use any embossing folder you want. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to color in my leaves. So I'm going to use crushed curry. I want my leaves to be a little bit darker. I'm going to use crushed curry, and I'm going to add ink to my blend, or to my dauber. And then what I can do is I can just start to color in my leaves. And because it's been embossed and I've taken that ink over it, the Misty Moonlight ink, it actually helps me to see where the embossing is. So I'm going to do this again. I'm doing very light. I don't want to go too dark, but I'm just putting color on all of my flowers. Tap that in, come back again. You do have to be careful. It's like anything else. You've got ink on it. If you go straight down to your card, you potentially could give it too much color. If you want to protect yourself, you can just dab it off a little bit, come back over, and I'm adding more color in here. Then I can go to my glass mat and I can just kind of pick this up. So I'm going to be coloring everywhere I feel like I have sunflower leaves. So we'll get that done first. And again, I'm just using a swirling motion with my dauber. Let's see, we'll get these over here. And I think I've got a few over here. And the fun thing also about the embossing folder, and you'll see this as I show you samples of this, you can move your embossing folder around. The embossing folder, let me just show you again, is really big. So I can get a section here, I can get a section up here, I can get a section here, a section down here. So all of your cards can look different just because you're moving your paper around. Now, the other thing that I've done is I've started with my paper, it's 4¼ by 5½. So most of the time when we're doing our cards, our layer is usually like 4 by 5¼ I'm going to start with this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down. So I'm not too worried, you know, if I mess up or whatever along the edges, I'm able to cut it down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my old olive, and I'm also going to use a dauber, and I'm going to get a clean dauber because I don't know if you can see, but this dauber has got a little bit of wear and tear on it. So it's just time to move it along. My whole point in sharing that with you is that most likely you're going to want to have an extra pair or an extra set of daubers available to you so that you can continue to create. All right, so I'm getting some ink on here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to color in my leaves. And again, I'm just doing like a circular motion, and I can go darker and layer up the color or just leave it light. This one had a lot of blue on it, so I'm going to try to go a little bit darker with it, just because when I swiped, I got a lot of blue, and that's fine. It just adds to the highlighting and the texture of the card. So we've got our green here, and color this one in, and I feel like, is that all my, I've got a few leaves here, a few there. Let me see, did I get all my leaves? I think so. All right, so one last color I'm gonna bring in, and that is going to be my early espresso. And I'm gonna do that for the center, and this one's doing fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tap this off over here, and I'm gonna do the insides of my flowers. Okay, this one. This is so fun to do. All right, we've got that. I've got another one over here. Okay, we've got that one. I think I've got one down here. Okay, did I get it all? Oh my gosh, so pretty. Let me take my paper towel, clean up my glass mat, close up my ink. And my first sunflower card is ready to put together. I'm gonna wait, we're gonna put them all together at the same time. But how fun was that? We used the embossed side. All right, I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna bring out this piece of Daffodil Delight. And I did the same thing. I embossed this with the embossing folder. I picked a different section of it, but this time around, we're gonna work on the debossed side of it. So basically what I'm gonna do is this time I'm gonna use my early espresso, and we're going to pull the early espresso over the debossed side, and you can see the difference in how it looks. But isn't that cool? Oh my goodness. I have so much fun. I'm gonna give it a few swipes. You have to be careful because you can get some stripes in it. It kind of adds to the look, I guess. But I'm gonna go ahead and darken it up. So now we've got this. This is our debossed side. I'm gonna clean this up, and we're gonna add some colors, and I'm gonna introduce you to another tool that I like to use, but it is not a Stampin' Up tool. But it does work. So you can use your what do we call these? Your daubers. You can use your brushes. But again, these are my little brushes, and I feel like my little brushes are too big. So in my stash, I also have these little bitty brushes. And these are actually Altenew brushes, but can you see the little brush tip on this? So this isn't something that Stampin' Up carries, but if you happen to have something similar to this in your stash, pull these out because they really do come in handy. So I'm gonna pull out the yellow, the green, and the brown that I was using. And then if this is something that you're interested in, you can always go out to Altenew's website and check and see what they've got. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my leaves again. So I'm gonna bring out my crushed curry, and I'm gonna take my little Altenew brush, and I'm just gonna get some ink on it. And now what I can do is I can color in my leaves, and it's just easier for me to get color on these leaves and stay within the areas that I need to stay within because it's such a small brush. So I'm scrubbing on, I'm literally scrubbing, doing little circles, making sure I get it dark enough. I want it to be darker than the actual yellow cardstock. So I'm using crushed curry for my ink. My cardstock is Daffodil Delight. So we'll get this color on. That's a green, so I'm not gonna do that one. And you will just color in your leaves, however you do it, whether you do it with your daubers or your brushes. But I'm gonna get these leaves colored in. And it goes really fast. I mean, that's why you can sit down in an afternoon with your embossing folder. I would suggest you just emboss out a bunch of cardstock, and then you just sit down and you play. And I promise you, when we get finished with these cards, I'm going to show you other cards that I have played with, because it's addicting, really. So fun. All right, so let me continue to do this. The end of July is kind of bittersweet because it signifies that summer is getting close to ending. And I don't know about where everybody else lives, but school is getting ready to start, like in the middle of August. So we're headed to Wichita tomorrow to visit my son and his wife. They're both teachers, and their kids, because their summer's almost over. And so we're going to go down and spend the day with them before they all have to go back to school. I can't believe it's time to start thinking about school. Autumn was telling me, of course, remember I shared that the baby is due August 19th. Well, I was talking to her today, and I think she said that her kids go back to school August 14th, which is crazy. Back to school night is August 12th, and they start school on August 14th. Anyone wanting to spell Altenew for the, thank you. You did it good. You got it right. Altenew. Exactly. Perfect. Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that. All right, now I'm using a little bitty, let me see, get it on the screen, a little bitty one for the leaves. All right, so now I'm gonna go find my leaves, and I've got one here. But see how easy it is for me to get into those leaves? And again, not saying that you can't use some of the other tools that I shared with you. I'm just showing with you what I've got in my arsenal and what's working for me. And you know, it may work for you as well. If you may already have something similar to this. Getting this all scrubbed in. You can add layers, make it as light or as dark as you want. Obviously, since I say my scrub with the early espresso, I want to make sure that I got plenty enough color in here to stand out on the early espresso. So just bringing in more color, bringing that in. You can tell I'm not being really precise with it. I'm just getting that color in. Let's see, I've got a few leaves over here. I'm gonna grab. Okay, can you see how the green has started to pop out on this? So fun. All right, last but not least, I'm going to bring in the early espresso. And I also have a little brush for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this, and I'm going to, just very lightly, I don't wanna be too dark with this, but very lightly I'm gonna go around the edges of this. And you can kind of see where probably should have dabbled off. I can pick up more color later and add it. But if you go straight to your paper, you risk getting it a little bit darker than what you would like for it to be. And hence that little mark. But for all we know, that's just a little blemish in the flower. I won't tell anybody if you don't. All right, I think I want them a little bit darker here. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. Okay, let's get this one over here. Just coloring around. Okay, look how pretty that looks. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's clean up our mess. This one, I believe I'm done with. And I'm gonna set my tools off to the side so that I can bring in our third one before we start to put things together. So I'm gonna set this off to the side. And the last one we're gonna make is with Okay, I know that cardstock is here. The black. So what I did is I embossed a black piece of cardstock, and I'm going to take our white ink and we're going to do the exact same thing. My ink pad, I do a lot of that. You can see my ink pad starting to show some wear and tear. So swish it across, swish it across, swish it across, swish it across. And then if you just want to make sure you're getting it coated completely, you can turn it different directions. So let me get my little sponge stuff that's fallen off of this. Let's see, I'm showing a little bit of streaking. I think if you go light and not push so hard, you can probably avoid some of that. But I also think it kind of adds to the texture of the card. So isn't that pretty? And how easy with that? That is all we are doing with this card so that we can create a card base with it. All right, so let me clean this up. And I'm going to show you a few other things before we actually create the cards. So this was white swished with, or excuse me, this was black swished with white. Gosh, Sandra, thank you for doing that. You're so sweet. Sandra just put the link to the Altenew brushes if you guys are interested. So what I did is I took the white and I swished with the black. So you can have this look. This is on the embossed side, or you can turn it over and you can do it on the debossed side. And this gives you a really good look of how it differs when you do the debossing. The debossing does all the high areas around the flower, where the debossing, or excuse me, the embossing does all the high areas, and the low areas then stay white. So you can choose whether you want to go with the debossed side or you want to go with the embossed side. So let's start creating our cards. We'll do this one first. And I'm going to bring my trimmer in because, like I said initially, I cut these to 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then what I can do is I can cut these down. Let's make some room. So for my card, I have my black card base. I have a basic white layer. And then we're going to be putting my sunflower on top of that. This layer, the white layer, is 4 by 5 1/4. I want to come down just 1/4 of an inch. So I'm looking to see which side I want to, or not 1/4 of an inch, I want to come down 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to take my 1/8 of an inch off of this side. And then I want to come down, was that 1/8 of an inch? Yep, that was 1/8 of an inch. And then I want to come down 1/8 of an inch on this side as well. and measuring from 4 1/4. That's why it looks like I'm taking off a huge amount, but I'm really not. All right. Move this off to the side, and then this piece is going to fit inside of my white, and it's just going to have just a small little border around it where the white is peeking out. You could cut off more and have a larger border. Let me grab my glue, and we'll go ahead and get this glued down. Come on, glue, cooperate, please. Let me see if I've got some in here. We'll use the bigger ones since we're working with bases. Try again. There we go. It's probably better to have a little bit more glue anyway, because all of this area is embossed, and so you just need a little bit more glue. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this laid down first. And let me see, I've got ink on my hands. I'm going to change this up here in just a second. But I'm going to go ahead and get this layer down. And we're going to let it dry. I'll put a couple of ink pads on it. I'm going to use, see my hands? I told you this is a messy process, but so worth it. All right, so let me get the ink off of my hands. The white tends to be a little bit more sticky, if you will. I just re-inked my ink pad before the class, and I noticed that when it comes out a little bit thicker. All right, so we've got that. Now what we can do is we can create this base. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this folded over. I'm gonna turn it over this way. I've got ink everywhere. We'll go ahead and look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. I get so excited. All right, let's go ahead and get glue on the back of this one. And get this centered up. So now we've got the main part of the card done. The other thing that I did with these, and you can do it however you want to, but with the sentiments, I just went easy. And so we have some ephemera that is sentiments. It's greetings for all. It's a mix and match. So what I did is I got into my greetings for all mix and match, and I keep them in a card case. The other thing that I do, and I just want to share this with you, is I have this stamp set. It's called Wonderful Thoughts. And it's all sentiments as well, as you can see. And you've got stamps for all the sentiments, but you also have dies for all the sentiments. So if you're not interested in like die cutting around your sentiments, not die cutting, fussy cutting. If you're not interested in fussy cutting around your sentiment, you can actually stamp your sentiments, and then there are dies specifically to go with that sentiment, those sentiments. So I have a number of those in here too that I have stamped, and I just keep all of my sentiments together. And then when I'm getting ready to do a card, I can go ahead and pull them out. So I decided on this particular, because I was having so much with the sunflowers, I didn't really want to mess with sentiments, figuring out what I wanted to do. So I went to my ephemera. Now, the other thing that I'm going to share with you is that this ephemera is also very popular, and it's supposed to be back this week. It's not available. Guys, when I create these cards, I create them several weeks in advance. And when I create them, the products are available. But sometimes it just doesn't work for me. And it just so happened that the sunflower embossing folder and these were out of stock. Sunflowers come back August 11th, but these come back this week. So I'm watching. They weren't back yet today, but they come back the week of the 28th, and today's the 29th. So I expect to see them. Anyway, I picked out what I wanted to use, and I think the last one I used Thanks. This one I want to use Thinking of You. I don't really want to hide that beautiful sunflower, so I think I'm going to put the Thinking of You here. So I'm just going to grab some dimensionals, and I am going to grab, we have white dimensionals, but we also have black dimensionals, and the black dimensionals come in a variety of both the large and the small dimensionals. So I'm going to use the black dimensionals specifically because I'm putting it on black paper, and I just feel like the black dimensionals will kind of hide underneath. Okay, so let's go ahead. I've got a white dimensional that's trying to escape, making things really sticky. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull these off. I take your pick, it makes it easier. There we go, we'll pull those off, and I'm going to take my Thinking of You, and I'm just going to place it right here in the corner. And I'm going to make sure I have it lined up the way that I want. And then the last thing I'm going to do is and you can do it however you want to. I just went into my stash and pulled out a number of my embellishments. This particular one, since it's all white, I thought it would be pretty to use these antique pearls on it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a couple of embellishments on here to kind of bling this up a little bit. And move this out of the way. And look how pretty this card is. So, so pretty with the sunflowers. All right, so this was the first one that we did with the black. So, and you can see they're in totally different locations. So pretty. All right, let me bring in the next one that we're gonna cut down. And that one, I'm gonna bring my trimmer back in. We're gonna do the sunflowers that we did on the yellow. So I've got early espresso cardstock. I'm gonna do an old olive layer, and then my sentiment is gonna be sending hugs. So let me bring this in. And again, this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut this one down 1/8 of an inch shorter than 4. But I'm looking at where I want to cut. I guess I could do it like this. So I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch here. You can take equal amounts off of each side too if you want to. And then I need to bring this down to 4 by 4 1/4. So I need to bring it down to 5 1/8. And let me see, which side do I want to bring down? I like that sunflower there. I like that one up there too. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna split hairs here, and I'm gonna take off a 1/16 of an inch here, and hopefully I'm doing this right. By 5. Oh, I took off too much. Okay, that's fine. I think everyone would agree we'd rather have a demonstrator who pre-plans than a last-minute mini. Thanks, Sandra. Oh, sometimes I feel like a last-minute mini. Okay, I've got to take this down to 3 3¼ because I took off too much off of the side, the end, the long way, if you will. All right, so let's go ahead, and I want to make this centered up here. There we go. That's exactly how I want it. Okay, so you can trim off. Everything's good. We'll go ahead and get this folded. And let's go ahead and get this layer down on our old olive. And again, this card used the embossed side. Or, sorry, the debossed side. We are gluing down the embossed side, debossed side up. I don't want to confuse you guys. I'm confusing myself. All right, so let's go ahead and get this centered where we want it. So pretty. And then we'll go ahead and get this layer down on the early espresso. And it's just crazy how you put it down on this early espresso and the flowers just kind of pop. It's crazy the way that works. All right, so on this one, I'm gonna do sending hugs. And I think I want my sending hugs to go like right here. So we're gonna do the exact same thing again. And we're gonna use the mini black dimensionals. But how easy is this? And you can do up all kinds of sentiments and have them ready for you when you're creating, or you can create your sentiments as you go along. I'm trying to get these off my fingers. My fingers have glue on them. All right, so move this off to the side, and then I want my sending hug sentiment to go right here. So we'll get it lined up. Okay, now we have our second card done. So this was our first card. And it's interesting how much brighter this one is than this one. I think the reason that this one's a little bit duller is because I did more brown on it than I did on this one. But again, you can play with it. You can go light on your brown, you can go dark on your brown, your overlap. I am gonna add a little bit of bling to this. I have yet to have any two cards look the same. This one, I have the neutrals adhesive backed sequins, and these sequins have brown, so I thought this would be perfect for this. So I think I'm gonna do my triangle down here, and then I'm gonna bring another sequin up, probably maybe right here. Okay, just adds a little bit of bling to your card. So there we have card number 2. Still, both of them so pretty. All right, let's bring in the last one. And this one is the one that we used the Misty Moonlight on. So this card is Old Olive card base, Misty Moonlight layer, and then the sentiment that we're gonna use is Sending Sunshine, which basically seemed appropriate considering we were using sunflowers. Sunflowers and sunshine to me just go together. All right, this is 4 by 5 1/4 as I thought. So this one is going to be 4 1/8, or excuse me, 3 7/8. So let me go ahead and get this off on this side. 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And where do I want to take it off at? I'm going to take it off from this side. 5 1/8. Did we get it? Yes, we did. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this over, and we're gonna get this layered up. Look what happens when you put it on colored paper for the background. Just makes it pop. All right, so we'll get this down. Get this centered up. Okay, once I have this where I want it, now what I can do is get the card base ready. Get it down on the card base. It's crazy how it just kind of comes to life. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. And then I also used sequins on this one. Let's get our sentiment on, Sending Sunshine. I think I want Sending Sunshine right here. I don't want to cover up my flowers. This time I'm going to use the white dimensional since I've got a white sentiment. And my paper is a lot lighter that the sunflowers are on. And get that. Get these off to the side. Get these backings off. Sticky, sticky. All right, Sending Sunshine is gonna go right here. And before I stick it down, I want to make sure I get it lined up the way that I want it lined up. And then I'm going to bring in those sequins again. This time they've got white sequins, and they're kind of a grayish white. So let me see. I think I'm going to put them, where am I going to put them? Right here. No method to what I'm doing. I typically do my embellishments in threes, and a lot of times I'll do them right around the sentiment. So here you go. You can kind of see them. But this is then the third card, and you can see just how pretty they both ended up turning out. So let me show you these again, then I'm going to show you some other ones that I've done. Okay, so here were these. Okay, and then of course our black. So how fun was that? So remember, because this is a to-go class, and you can get the kit for free or you can purchase the kit. Either way, I will actually emboss the sunflowers for you since the sunflower embossing folder is not available to you. Otherwise, you can just wait until you get your sunflower embossing folder, and then you can go to town. But let me show you some of these other cards. I wasn't kidding when I said I went crazy. All right, so here's another one that I did. This one is, I did it on the embossed side, and I did a swipe with black, and then I colored in my flowers in blue and my centers in yellow and then my green, and then I've got some bling on those. This was another one that I did, and I'm looking to see, okay, we're coming to it. This is Debossed. This is a Debossed side, so you can see all of this is the Misty Moonlight, and I went dark with the Misty Moonlight so it covered all those flat areas. And again, I was just using the ephemera for my sentiments, but how pretty is that? So I did the yellow again, and I did the Debossed side. Then I've got another one that I created that was much like the ones that we just did, and this is on the embossed side using, I'm gonna look at, see, this is yellow cardstock that we used on this. That's why you get the darker color, because we used the yellow cardstock. But how fun is that? Here's one. This one I did on white. I colored the back. So this is the Debossed side, and basically what I did is I colored the back with Stampin' blends. So I colored the leaves and I colored the flowers with Stampin' Blends on the embossed side, turned it over to the debossed side, and did my swiping in black. How fun was that? All right, here's another one. I used Pool Party cardstock and Misty Moonlight, and did my coloring with my brushes with this. So I was I was playing with all different kinds of colors, as you can see. Okay, so this one was done in Strawberry Slush, just the white card base. I swiped the Strawberry Slush on the embossed side, so the raised side, and then I matted it on Strawberry Slush. And then of course my sentiment is Strawberry Slush as well. And then added a little bit of bling to it. This one, I've only got a couple more. This one is a lot darker, and the reason for that is this is the facing you is the embossed side. I colored with blends on the embossed side. Oh, I love the blue too. Maybe that's your favorite color, Diana. I'm just guessing. Anyway, I colored on the debossed side and then turned it over and did my swiping on the embossed side with the Misty Moonlight. And then actually when I was trimming it off, because all those pieces that you've seen me trim off, you can actually save these pieces and use them for the inside of your card. So that's what I did with this, and had my Sending Hugs as my sentiment. I used Early Espresso as my layering color, and Midnight or Misty Moonlight as the color that I wanted. And then this one I just did yesterday. I love it. This one turned out so pretty. I was doing YouTube, checking things out, and I found a demonstrator, and I'm sorry I don't know what her name is, but she had done this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. I have to do that. So what I did, same exact thing, I went ahead and took my Early Espresso and, oh, no worry, Diana. I took my Early Espresso, I embossed it, then the embossed side is what's facing up. I took Versamark and swished it with Versamark, and then I took bronze embossing powder and put the bronze embossing powder over the top of it and heated it. And look how pretty that turned out. And so then I just cut it up differently than I did with these, and I stamped my sentiment. But everything, it's like I've got the white layer that's the full length of the card, and then I did, I don't know, it's like 3.5 by 3.5 for the embossed piece. So I did 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 for the layer, and then I went ahead with my sentiment and layered it as well. So many fun cards you can make with this embossing folder. I didn't do any stamping except for on this last card. It was just all playing with the embossing folder. So anyway, what do you guys think? Are you guys all like wanting to get this embossing folder? Anyway, thank you for joining me today. This was a card that I had so much fun playing with. I'm going to come back and see you guys. And remind you that the Crafting Happiness Club is open for enrollment. Stampin', or the Paper Pumpkin is open up for enrollment. And this is a to-go class. So if you're interested in that, go out to my website and it'll give you all the information. Oh, good, Sandra. You're going to do a to-go class. I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to see what you guys create as well. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye, everyone.